candidate. Next, I'm going to invite up Nils Andresen. He is a great emerging leader here in the state of Alaska. Has known Scott for a bit. Met him when he was the mayor of Sitka. Is the mayor of Sitka. So please come up, Nils, and then we'll go to Scott.
My first time introducing somebody, but I couldn't ask for a better person to introduce. I met Scott just over a year ago around a table with probably 20-25 young Alaskans, and we were talking about what values, what virtues we were looking for in Alaska's leaders. And since that time, I have known Scott to not only articulate those values, but to live by them. And I'm humbled to be here today introducing him. He's a good friend, and I really respect all that you've done, Scott. Many of you have heard about his local experience, his statewide experience. You know that as your next senator, in a race that's us versus them, his modern approach will put Alaska first, put Alaskans first, and really address local needs, local control, local responsibilities in a way that you're not going to find elsewhere. You'll hear more from Scott about ensuring a woman's right to choose, making sure that Alaska's economy is the 21st century economy, that we have education that meets local needs and educates our kids, and that we find renewable energy solutions for the state and the nation. In the last year that I've known Scott, we've been rocked, I would say. Alaska's political landscape is rocked by both the death of Governor Walter J. Hickel, who I've had the pleasure of knowing and working with, and then also Senator Stevens. And I find myself looking for new directions, new leadership, and compass points that I can draw hope and inspiration from. And I give you Scott McAdams.
There he is. All right.
Well, hey, what a rally. Thanks for being here. Thank you.
Scott McAdams, candidate U.S. Senate Alaska.
You know, this is humbling. This is fantastic. But this rally today represents what is happening in Anchorage and in Angoon, in Sitka and in Shishmaref. In all four corners of this state, Alaskans are coming together and asking, what's next? Where do we go from here? How do we ensure that as a young state, we continue to fight for Alaska's economy, for Alaska's communities, that we secure what's next for us in the 21st century? And people every day, all over Alaska, I'm happy to report, are getting behind this campaign. Everywhere we go, we grow. The energy in this thing is overwhelming. You know, we have got hundreds of Alaskans making thousands of calls to neighbors, to friends, and sharing that, you know, there are folks who are part of a national media dialogue that's framed around a family feud. And they're going back and forth and back and forth. But this campaign is about Alaska. It'll continue to be about Alaska throughout November when we win. I'd like to begin by recognizing some folks here in the audience. We've got great support from local leaders, friends in all 53 school districts around this state, in Alaska's hundreds of communities. We've got Elvie Gray Jackson here in the audience. Thank you, Elvie.
There's Elvie.
We've got Assemblywoman Harriet Drummond here in the crowd. Thank you, Harriet.
Harriet.
But you know, Alaska is 300 small towns. And I'm here standing before you today as a guy with 8 years experience as a locally elected leader, but really a lifetime's experience as an adult of working on behalf of community. My name is Scott McAdams. I'm the mayor of the city and borough of Sitka. A little bit about me. I've been married to my wife, Romy, for 17 years. My day job is as the director of community schools for the Sitka School District. I guess you could say I'm a bit of a community organizer. You ever heard of that? This idea of a small town mayor and a community organizer, I'd like to think that I'm both of those at one point of convergence. But you know, my day job is served on behalf of Sitka's kids, making sure that they have strong after-school programs, that they have enriching arts and sports opportunities for them to participate in. You know, we run the AmeriCorps program for the city of Sitka through my program. So we bring volunteers in to serve community throughout the state. But this campaign is about putting Alaskan communities ahead of Washington politics.
That's right.
In so many ways, Washington, D.C. is broken. Especially in the United States Senate. Things are frozen. They're gridlocked. And in my view, it's because of partisanship. It's because of partisanship. Well, I can tell you that, you know, in my background as a community guy, as someone who had the great honor, Harriet is familiar with this organization because she served with it, of having served as the president of the Association of Alaska School Boards, as serving as the chairman of the Southeast Alaska Conference of Mayors, somebody who serves on the Humanities Council, Humanities Forum Council, somebody who served with the State Arts Council for Education, somebody who's been on the board of directors of the Alaska Municipal League. You know, for so many Alaskans, national politics are important. We're all smart folks who are members of the news reading public, but it's our communities, it's our neighbors, it's our kids, our friends, our seniors that matter the most to us. In this election, we have the opportunity to send a proven bipartisan leader to Washington, D.C. And I'll share with you, when I served the Association of Alaska School Boards, I didn't represent liberal school board members or conservative children or progressive teachers. I served all of Alaska's kids in schools through a shared vision crafted by a broad audience that structured that vision through policy and budget and went out and delivered it to our stakeholders. If we send another partisan to Washington, D.C., there's a different view of the world. Some people would have us believe that the problem with American government, the problem with our federal system, is one that is exclusively related to finances. Well, I'd agree. We have a $13 trillion budget in this country, a deficit deficit that we need to solve. But you know what? We are going through a 30-year cycle of tax break after tax break, of corporate giveaway after corporate giveaway,
yes,
to where we're at a point now, thank you, to where we're at a point now of where we are at a crossroads. And, you know, I ask you to stand with me in the proclamation that it is inappropriate to balance the federal budget on the backs of seniors and kids while we continue